Hello, everybody. Welcome, everybody, big, small, short, or tall. We love everybody here, except for any Mongolian over the age of 70. I just have a personal feud. You could say it was because of a traumatic event. Doesn't matter. I'm not supposed to divulge my personal deets, all right? All you know is if you're a 75-year-old Mongolian or older, get out of town. Also, we have acquired some shit that I found at Vaughn's with Dom on accident. Like I didn't expect to see something this primo, but this is really special because for one, Dr. Pepper already tastes excellent as is, and as they're plastering on here, like come on, the entire American public knows that the cane sugar sodas are better, and so they're advertising it. I feel like I'm living in the age of American excellence again. Look at this retro logo, retro bottle. It's just, oh my God. I'm so ready. I know that soda dehydrates me further and like paper eating's already unhealthy as is. So it's like double whammy, but don't even care no more. How are we doing? Lol says, yeah, that's a great name, by the way. Lol. Rafflecopter. Eat a sheet. Yeah. Be patient, man. Trust the process. Let's just give a little taste test. All right. I know people don't want for me to be like a retro soda nerd channel, but I am turning into one of them. All right. I'm serious. I could live out my entire livelihood in making a living just by reviewing. I mean, there's no market for that. That won't pay. But if it did, I would do it. It's just as fucking good as I imagined. It's so special. And I got 2 cases, $9 per with tax, basically $10 per for 4 bottles. 4 measly, I mean, that's actually a pretty fair price, but still, I'm just kind of accentuating in my head how valuable and like I only got 8 cases, and I guarantee you they're not going to be on sale all the time. You don't see a sale for these every day. I feel like people just do not. I know Coke has flooded the market, but people need to realize just how fucking special it is to find the objective best soda in can form with the really cheap, easily peelable logo sticker. I don't know how I feel about that, but it's okay because the logo is also there engraved in the glass, in the ice. I was going to say the ice. Like, that's not ice. So let's not be too pessimistic about this. Is good. Paid 10. Shut the fuck up. You're so. I'm gonna pin that. I like that for some reason. Can I put this on my car? I'm putting this on my fucking car. I'll be right back. Just give me a second. I'm feeling happy about that. Just give me a second. I'll be right back. Because there was condensation water on the sticker, it looks so shit. It looks so bad when it's on there, but I don't even care. I don't even fucking care. Ain't no way it's better than Coke. You're telling me that you're old enough to have a computer or at least to take your mom's iPad and watch my stream, and yet you've never tasted Dr. Pepper before, huh? Where do you live? Cuba? I know they banned soda over there. So, Cuba banned Coke too. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm very tired, by the way. It's just what an exhausting week. I'm not even doing much. It's just that just my whole sleep thing's off. My brain just ain't behaving. So sorry if I'm a little out of it. Also, I'm kind of active. The reason the green screen's on behind me is not because I'm using it for this stream, but because, and I don't want to spoil too much or divulge too many details, but the psychology teacher that I made a video on, whose name and likeness will not be disclosed, has basically tried to skirt around threatening me, but he didn't like the video. And he threatened me with, the superintendent district board action if I didn't take it down permanently. And he doesn't want any re-uploads. However, I'm going to be privating the current video and re-uploading a newer version of the video with some additional embellishments added. It's going to be a little bit of a stink piece because, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of being finessed and threatened into deleting stuff I worked hard on, especially if you watch that video, which you still can. It's up right now, not for long. Most of that video is not making fun of him. It's me goofing on myself for having bad grades. And I believe I'm in my legal right to have that video still up. However, it's an act of generosity. So, yeah, it's fun when these happen because I have a very strict code of conduct when it comes to being finessed into censoring myself. I just don't abide by that stuff. On no planet will I ever abide by those types of ideas. And plus, he's way too late. I mean, he should have brought it up with me a long time ago. Anyways, I don't want to go on and on because that'll be discussed, pardon me, properly and in refined video form when this video comes out. So anybody who's watching, subscribe to Good Content, the main channel with less than half the subs I have on here because I upload like a video a year. But hey, you guys are going to be getting a new one soon. Hopefully I can hustle the fuck up and get it out within the next week. Like within this week, I want to have it out. Like within the next, like ideally within the next 2 or 3 days, because if I keep the current version of the video up, he's going to be pissed. And he might like actually call the board, but I really think the gentleman is bluffing. But this is the first time, like most of my teachers are super cool with it. And those videos have gone like harder on their appearance, interestingly enough, I think. But if I remember correctly, but yeah, you know, it is what it is. The interesting thing is how he brought it up with me. He was like, yeah, so I got an email from an anonymous student saying that I was bald and stupid. Like, he didn't specify what was in the email because the email most definitely does not exist. But the guy made the claim that some student, and it is a fact that like throughout the college campus that I go to, there are tons of classes that I have nothing to do with students who know my videos. Like my videos get passed around a little bit. And so there are plenty of classes. So he's like, yeah, there's another class that has no connection to the one you're in. And they're talking about you and talking about your videos. So, you know, it's possible someone could be, you know, harassing, but it can't be based off that video. It's someone who's already in school, already doesn't like him, obviously. But I think he's just making up like, if you knew this man, you'd know that he intends to be as conflict averse as possible, but he has so many boundaries. And when one gets when a bubble gets broken, he wants to bring it up, but without bringing it up. He's basically told me like, some members of the board are already concerned and they might take action and, you know, do things the hard way. But I don't want that. I don't want for this to be a board issue. So I figured you and I could sort it out here. So there's just been a mean email. And I figured like, why not just take the video down so that there's no problem. And I'm just like, that video, like, can I see that email? Because you say it's anonymous. You don't know who sent it. So you're not just going to name a student because you probably think I know every student, which I don't. But also, he just doesn't want to name any other students or implicate them. But I was like, do you know anything about the specific contents of the email or what was in it or how it was anonymous? Like, what was the email address? He didn't tell me any of those. He's like, oh, that's not very productive, just saying what was in the email. The point is that they sent me that email because of your video, and I have no problem with the video. I'm fine with it unless people start sending me emails like that. So to prevent people from sending me more emails, could you just take it down and not have it up in any form? Why not focus on more things that are productive, more productive than that? And I'm like, yeah, but I put effort into that video. And also, if you look at my previous videos with a bunch of other teachers, they've responded quite well. And it's been kind of a unifying thing. It's your choice to bring this up as a problem, right? So, I mean, why was this only a problem in the last couple weeks right before the final stretch? Like, you could have, this video has been up for like, what, 3 weeks? Could have brought it up then. In fact, I brought the video to your attention in email form for full disclosures purposes about 3 weeks ago. Turns out it took him a while to get around to telling me about it, probably because he was devising his little anonymous, some random student anonymously sent me an email lie, you know? So anyways, sorry for talking about it. So like, I just find it very curious. That's how he brought it up. I don't know how I'm going to express that without making the video too bloated. I have a way. I figured out a way. I have an idea. I have my vision. So I do have to thank him for motivating me to actually make a new video because I've been really slacking recently. It's just, I've been kind of leaning into the streams. This was a message from God for me to, you know, or the universe or Buddha. This was a message from Buddha for me to start motivating to get the main channel rolling again. There's just something about being censored that motivates me to make more shit in opposition to that. This whole series started because my main channel was being censored by my father. So this whole thing wouldn't exist if it weren't for my relationship towards being censored. So, you know, could you please take it? Yeah, it's such a, what a bitch made coward way to try and ask, to just tell me that you were personally offended. Just grow a pair of hairy balls and just tell me that you were personally offended by the video. It's not that bloody hard, but I don't know, man. I don't know. In community college, you get some soft ass motherfuckers. I'm like, oh yeah, that's why you're still here and not elsewhere, like anywhere but here at a community college that's mostly being funded by the government, and you guys get paid 3 cents an hour. That's why, because you guys are fucking don't know how to take initiative, you know? I'm gonna tell you to strat them twin. He's working his way around to telling me to do it, man. All right. Maybe I'm just not listening very well, but fuck, man. FFFGGG, you're late. That's okay. Rewind about like 3 minutes, and because there's a big piece of internet news. It's not exactly good. I've been threatened by my professor with superintendent district board action, and I'm going to be making some moves. Stay tuned to the main channel to see what's going to happen, because I don't take threats like that lightly. Yes, we could be broke, but also you could just say we're so resourceful. There's a lot of federal Pell Grants within community college. We could just say we're exploiting. Well, we aren't eligible for federal Pell Grants, so whatever. I'm just constructing a narrative because God, these attacks are so personal. Fuck. But yeah, just know it's all good. Stay tuned to the main channel. Hopefully, if I hustle the fuck up and I actually am motivated enough, especially because the professor is staying tuned on this video, and if it's up probably in definitely by next class, by next Tuesday, if the initial video is still up and I haven't finished my re-upload response thing, there's probably going to be some other unfortunate thing that's going to happen. I'm playing. I'm broke too. We're all here on a paper reading live stream on YouTube. Come on. We're not going to pretend like we're one of the elites. I'm Native American. That's good. That's good. I'm glad I'm learning a new thing every day. This is great. I'm Native American. Sunglasses emoji. It is pretty cool. That is a hard flex. I mean, if you think about it, every single person who takes an ancestry test or a 23andMe test is like, dude, I'm 0.003% Chickasaw, Chickasaw. I'm 0.003% Chickasaw, guys. It's interesting. I don't know how much mass spread impregnation happened within those tribes. I don't want to assume anything. I don't have any historical knowledge, but if there's a little teeny tiny bit of Native American DNA and tons of people who have reported to me that they took a test, something was going on. There's some crossbreeding, be it voluntary or involuntary. I'm just saying, I'm leaving it open-ended. Getting controversial up in here. Less college prices. I know. I'm going to transfer to SDSU soon with a comms major. So I'm going to go from rock bottom to an inch and a half above rock bottom. Almost there, Justice Forever says, yo, this is a new viewer. New viewer alert. I wish I was using OBS so I could do my little alarm bell soundboard thing, which I don't have yet, and I'm lying that that's even a thing. But I will get something like that when we evolve the streams, and I know monkey type shit is going to go, bro really thinks he's going to achieve, which is going to motivate me to achieve. I dare you. Keep taunting me. I'm going to keep achieving because you're if it weren't for you constantly telling me I ain't going to do it, I probably wouldn't be motivated enough to just keep doing the stuff consistently. Did you hear that? All right. 0. I know that's supposed to be a decimal point and not a comma. 0.01% enough for child support or something. I know it's weird. I get I know they do statistics on what demographic of age of people watch my streams. They should do yearly income stats on YouTube Studio. That'd be very interesting. That would be an insane breach of privacy, but I want to know who the broke fuckers are watching certain channels. Like what channels do the elites watch? Lockpicking lawyer. I want to know who the rich people watch. Gonna stay in them YouTube trenches. Not sure if I get completely free college. I've not looked into it. Actually, that's what our fucking debate is on, which it's been a while since we did extensive research, so I'm a little hazy, which is probably not good. But all we're doing on our debate team is opposing the Gov's plan, and most of the time the Gov plans are hastily created. It's interesting because as op, we actually have the easiest job. We just got to improvise, which can be a little scary and a little more nerve-wracking than being the Gov team because there's a lot more pre-prepared material. But all in all, especially through my lens, it's infinitely easier. Infinitely. So I just think that we just got to not overthink it, because a lot of the people in my group are like, oh, let's do more research. I'm like, no, just target how weak the plan is. As long as we understand the basics of how a plan works and how to explain our reasons, the links, the brinks, the impacts, and the disadvantages, which we already have. Taxpayer burden. There is the, the Brookings financial papers that did the survey simulations, or what is it? See, now I'm forgetting shit. It's the, God damn, they had four policy simulations that simulated what would happen given all a huge accumulation of, I assume, because these are economists, seasoned economists who did this, well-versed statistics on how people respond to different pieces of legislation and enrollment based off previous legislation, adjusting the tuition rates and tuition prices. And there were 3 of them that were varying degrees of reduced tuition policy simulations, and there were increased graduation rates that were tangential with the increase in enrollment. But when they made community college entirely free, there was a unique, significant decrease by about 6 to 7% of people who were capable of getting bachelor's degrees and going to a 4-year, who instead, due to the complacency, due to the option existing entirely for free, which has a different sort of pull from, say, 50, even 75% reduced tuition. There's something about the word free in all caps that gets people going. And then people who were 100% financially and GPA-wise capable of achieving a 4-year bachelor's degree, 6 to 7%, which is a pretty fucking big number if you think about it, go to 2-year because they just want the easier pathway and they have the means to do so because it's free. This was not true for any of the other policy simulations, which was a very interesting number that we found while researching this whole thing, right? Associate's degrees are good, but the majority of kids who go to a 2-year to get an associate's will stick with that and will not get a bachelor's. People know this. This is common knowledge. So The Economist found a significant decrease in bachelor's degrees. Even if you aim to get a bachelor's degree after you have the 2 years over, you're postponing the acquisition of the bachelor's degree. And if you have 6 to 7% of people guaranteeing that delay of the acquisition of the BA, like that's a big BM proverbially on the face of our society and productivity. Because if you have 6 to 7% of people shooting for shooting for associates rather than bachelors, what's going to happen is you will get 6 to 7% less engineers in the next 2 to 4 years, like 6 to 7% less scientists and less all these things that require higher level degrees. So the economists found it alarming. And because we trust the economists and the study looked pretty legit, we're using that. Now, we might not even need to use it. Ideally, it's probably good to not explain the entirety of that. It's good to just target their plan and look at the weaknesses, but you know. What's the average uni, I assume stands for university, maybe, cost for a semester in the U.S.? I do not know. Debating's pretty easy. It's kind of like you just say, you're wrong, but give really good evidence. Actually, I don't think it's about quantity of evidence. It's really about, what we do as OP is just telling people why the plan is bad. Not that the problem doesn't exist or that, the fact that we are trying to do this is actually a bad thing. That in certain circumstances that can work, but most of the time it's like, sure, the problem exists, but this specific plan is in fact ass cheeks. And so the goal is to kind of drive that point home. Sometimes it works. Sometimes plans are really well constructed and we got to kind of scrunch our assholes a little extra hard to think of any flaw and then zero in on that. So yeah, it really depends on the gov team. So it's like my entire debate team, or I don't want to have a big head. I'm just using it because it's like an easy figure of speech. But our debate team is working on just trying to imagine every single possible scenario they could bring up. And it's like, just turn your brain off. Take some deep breaths. Take whatever anxiety-related medication that your doctor overprescribed you, and just go to bed. And when the debate happens, whatever weaknesses that will be there shall be exposed by us. But yeah, it's not like I even have a position on free community college. Listen, I would love to get it for free. But yeah, there's a taxpayer burden. There is the decrease in bachelor's degrees because of the whole, that policy simulation paper that is pretty reputable, if you ask me. Now, I'm sure my teacher, she's very knowledgeable. She assigned these topics and she's very biased about these topics. So she's probably heard of this paper and she probably is like, no, that paper's wrong. That paper's stupid. But I haven't seen any evidence while doing our own research that the paper is wrong or that the paper is stupid. So with that risk in mind, we're going to proceed and then she'll roast us after the fact. But how could that effect be possibly refuted? That is, that's the closest we can get. Also, there have been instances where like Bernie did the free for all college thing and there was a reported increase in tuition, but there was a actual proportionate 0.5 decrease in graduation rates. So it didn't even improve, proportionally speaking, graduation rates, and people were just dropping out at the rate that they were applying or the increase at which they were applying. So you actually have case studies of people trying to make community college entirely free, And Bernie Sanders' plan was interesting because it was trying to tax the top like 2%, and it was trying to tax Wall Street by like 0.5%. Sounds sensible, but there was a significant taxpayer burden on those people still, and it did goof the economy a little bit, which isn't the biggest hit ever. I mean, like I'm not really exactly a exclusively pro-economy person, but Bernie's plan saw more people signing up, but a slight decrease in graduation rates. So it's like you have more accessibility, but is that necessarily a good thing? You still saw people dropping out at a greater rate. So there is no increase in graduation. There were more people graduating because like the number of people who were there exploded. However, there was the problem of limited resources too. Like Bernie's plan didn't account for the finite amount of resources that these colleges already have. And so there was an oversaturation of students coming in, and like literally there are stories of just colleges legit running out of pencils. Teachers couldn't even like account for the amount of students signing up to their class. Like it was a whole thing. So the gov team needs to account for all these things, and there's a way to give a sensible, plan to solve this type of problem. But if they miss anything, we're going to be the lazy debaters, the really annoying debaters. It's like, oh yeah, you worked really hard on this plan. Here's the 1 weak link, so it's irrelevant. That's what our job is as debaters, which sounds really mean, but that's actually kind of how it works in government, honestly. Yeah, I mean that's why it's called community college. Actually, I had this viewpoint and I still kind of subscribe by it, which is that I think that community college in many ways is better than a place like Yale because you have this weird veneer of people who just want to achieve and they know they're in the place to achieve. There is no nihilism followed up by fuck it, let me just have fun here. It's all these damn bookworm introvert nerds. There, you have the people who are treating it as a stepping stone to get to somewhere better than they have that tunnel vision. They exist, but you'll notice a higher quantity of people who are just there to make friends. And I think if you were to like, once you get over the whole get a degree, achieve success, which is valid and relevant, and I do intend to get the best degree I can. I think success is good, and those you could call them surface level things, and I don't want to sound like a Buddhist or reject all material possessions, but when all of that stuff clears and you're at the end of your life, what will you find more important? The connections you made, the friends you have, how big your house is based off the degree you got, which got you a higher paying job, or the connections you made, emotionally speaking. Kind of pretentious sometimes too. No, I agree. I can be that way. I get it. But, how can I reject the idea of material wealth, which I think at some point has to be accounted for, but then also has to be dismissed because I'm like, it isn't everything. And sometimes by achieving that one thing, you can lose everything. So, but yeah,
Watch Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, watch Wolf of Wall Street. That movie will teach you that money is just an object, and money's stupid, and drugs are bad, and people are greedy, and the world's just a fucked up place. Maybe the Twitch streams were the friends we made along the way. Yeah, you're saying I have no friends because I have no Twitch streams. That's true, but I don't care. All right, I'm gonna make new friends and get new Twitch streams. All right, I don't even need you. Let me just finish because this is I'm supposed to study with my dad and it is past 3. Shit. This Dr. Pepper is so good. Oh my God. I don't know who Justice Forever is, but if you're from my school, it was a pleasure talking with you about 3 seconds ago. And if not, pretend I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. I mean, money is built off debt. The world was doomed from the beginning. Yes, in a spiritual way. Yes. How much debt do you think the entire world owes? Has to be in the unvigitillion dollars. It's 3:13. I know. I'm in 8th grade. Never mind. Yeah, because people, I'm this whole situation involving my professor is kind of it's indicating to me that the college has, seen my videos and it's getting passed around from student to student. So I think a lot of people go to college because they're told to by parents and teachers, not because they want. Not everyone's like that, but still, yeah. I mean, we got to know a percentage, but here's the thing: to even survey that is very tricky because if I'm a student, and so many students are ashamed of their familial obligations, right? If your family obligates you to do college, people often psychologically convince themselves that it's it's what they really want. And then they realize later when they're in their 40s and are bald that that's not what they really want. But like if you like I don't think I don't think it's surveyable at all. I think it's just hard to ask somebody like, oh, hey, did you choose this pathway? Is this what you really want? Like, what the fuck type of question is that? You won't get any accurate answers. For one, people will get defensive. And even if you word it really nicely and people were to actually try and think about it, such a huge quantity of people are legit fooling themselves and maybe just you could say their values change, their priorities change, but it's hard to tell whether or not it's I changed my priorities versus I've always wanted this different thing, but I was only engaging in the prior thing because my family and my environment wanted me to. It's just a hard thing to determine because the human brain is a tricky thing. I mean, if you think I'm saying something stupid, you can.
I have something to say about that.
Yeah. What?
So, community college or any college, actually, life is about figuring out what you like, what you don't like, and if you take college or any of that stuff in a perspective of exploration of self, then that has value. And regardless, if you already know what you want to do, that's one thing. Some people just take classes because they want to learn something they think is interesting.
Yeah, I think especially with community college, I mean, you have kind of final destination college like Oxford or something, but even in those colleges, you can still be open-minded. I just think from what I've experienced with a bunch of students, there's this rush to know what you're doing. If you're even in community college and you're fresh out of high school and you don't have a clear idea of who you want to be, you're fucked and you're clueless and you're done. Like whenever they're like, oh, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't even major in anything. The response is always, oh, look at you. Just wandering around. Huh. What's your GPA? 0, and it's just, they aren't saying that, but it's like, I kind of feel it. Maybe I'm just biased here, but Super Mondo Man says, yeah, true. And that girl, Eleanor, her, she went, you can't just drink beer and eat paper. Correction. This is Dr. Pepper, which I actually think is unhealthier than beer, but that's fine. At least like beer has like grain in it, but yeah, this is really good. Made with cane sugar. You should try it, Mom. Yeah, don't.
So,
Wait, also someone said, I mean, there's also a learning difference since school is just getting more dumb while college isn't changing as much as the other schooling. That's an interesting take. I mean, in some ways you might be right. I would just have to see like a specific statistics. That's a rhyme right there. Before we can't fix it till we get specific statistics. So, I mean, I don't know if that's true, but maybe. There are some ways in which college feels more retarded than before, but I mean, I don't know. That's just my my retard meter bias. I'm just like detecting, and I'm just getting better at detecting when I think something's stupid. Wow, excuse me. I just joined. What's going on? Oh yeah, update. So we're going to be privating and re-uploading the big main channel psychology teacher video because the aforementioned teacher who shall not be named and not disclosed and his likeness, pictures, and his name will be removed from the video has just threatened me with board action, which he can't do. By lying, just play back the stream and I'll tell you what happened. And so I will respond accordingly because I take censorship very bloody seriously. And I will be uploading it with additional context without naming the likeness of the teacher. I will be critiquing the censorship and I will be representing the teacher with a puppet that I have puppeteered to mimic the teacher's actual cadence. Wait, fuck. This is how he was when he was talking to me earlier. Just like this. This will be in the video. And again, I think I've just become more tactful over the years of approaching, because I've had these situations happen before, but now I'm approaching them in a way where I actually want to comply. And I've been brushing up on the Mesa Code of Conduct, and there are 0 infractions. However, if he wants his likeness retracted, I'll retract it. His likeness will be retracted, but what's the opposite of retract? Additionalized will be a little bit of critiquing, because it'll be like the title will literally be my unnamed professor didn't like it and wanted me to take the video down. And I know my parents are always like, don't agree with my approach, but I take this shit seriously, and I 100% will not. I'm not going to comply with. I prefer if you take it down and never re-uploaded any mention of it. I'm like, okay, I'll explain to my parents later, like how he approached this, but he approached it in a very dishonest way, and he insisted. Actually, I do give consent for my likeness to be in the video. It's totally okay by me. But an anonymous student sent me an email calling me bald, and when I asked for the specifics of the email, he refused to show it. He's like, "No, trust me, bro, it exists." I'm like, I don't think it does. I don't think it does. I think you just want to say that you didn't like the video and you were offended, and you don't want to actually say it. So just be a man and do it. Yes.
Did you get a grade from the teacher yet?
No, but it's all based off multiple choice questions and answers. So this is there's going to be no. I would have a little bit of a lighter touch if this was like an English class where he's grading an essay. But this is all based off multiple choice questions and answers. So I'll tell you later about how it went. I'm concerning my parents right now because I broke this news to them in the form of me ranting at my computer. Sorry, that's whatever. That's fine, but. Only gonna pass this video down to my child. Thank you. Downloaded the vid. I'm telling you, man, it actually becomes a little funnier if his face and his name is censored out, and I add the extra little piece of context with the puppeteering. I think it'll be a better version of the video. So you have the inferior video downloaded. But hey, appreciate it. It's public domain on the internet, and every single photograph was taken on a public college campus, so there is no legal grounds to have it removed. So it's just, I think he's just shitting in the dark. I have brushed up on my code of conduct. Thank you very much. But if I missed anything, then I'm deleting the likeness and re-uploading it anyways. I'm being overly generous. My English teacher has been teaching for a long time, and she says we learned what used to be freshman English as seniors. So at least in my area, it's getting dumber. Yeah, I mean, I imagine if you go to like I don't know, like Englewood College or something like that, yeah, you'll probably see some teachers who are meeting a very, very, very low bar. But that doesn't mean everyone in that like area is dumb. I think it's just by area, unless like in general college as a whole is stupid. I don't know. It's different. Make a diss track. I already did that in high school. I made a teacher diss track against my well, it was a very lighthearted thing, which by the way, this video that is such a damn problem, it's mostly me clowning on myself for getting bad grades. Like none of it was targeting the teacher. It just happened to include his name. And one mildly like humorous jab at his hair or lack thereof, which he's already poked fun at his lack of hair in front of like 40 people in class. So whatever. But I mean, the man's getting half of what he wants. Video re-uploaded. He's not going to like that, but his likeness is removed. And I actually had a talk with him in the very end of the conversation. I'm like, there are two options here, because you're not going to finesse me into deleting this video I worked hard on and having it gone forever. Option one, we keep it up and we stop the fuss. Option two, I delete it, re-upload it with your likeness removed, and that's that. And he's like, okay, I guess I'll go with the second option, and we shook on it. So he agreed with the preceding plan. So just cheat. I'm going to say on a public live stream, I don't want to cheat, and I want to achieve all my scores in the best, most what's valid way possible. What were you saying?
I said legitimate.
Legitimate, yeah. I was going to say equitable, and I'm like, that makes no sense. Thank you. On the end, bro gonna get suspended. I wonder how suspension in community college even works. I don't know what that would be.
Academic probation.
Well, okay, well, that's because of bad grades, not because of misbehavior. The production value. Yeah, I know. The puppet. I haven't used the puppets in years. I will say, I don't know why I neglected the puppets. I think they were a Christmas present. Every single time I've used the puppets in a video, it's actually ended up being one of my favorites. So I actually have to thank him for cowardly trying to be like, oh, I don't have a problem with it, but an anonymous student sent a mean email, so just take it. I'm like, just fucking tell me you didn't like it. I'm glad he did all that though. So because I think the video was missing something, a little bit of edge, as Pat Raris would say, a little bit of drama, a little bit of oomph. So I think it's the perfect opportunity to add a little controversial bell and whistle. It's like what I used to do in my high school days. I'm returning to my roots. So Propa, I meant props. No, it's okay. Trust me. You want to know how many times I've accidentally slurred my speech here on this stream? Just you and I were in the same boat. Give propa to bro for standing on his land. Thank you. I really appreciate fist bump for that. I appreciate you're very tactful about when to troll and critique and when not. That's very nice. I don't know. I hate bringing that up, but you seem like a very fair gentleman. You pass fair judgment. Own the typo. That's what I'm saying, dude. You said slurs. Yeah, we have a slur count. In fact, I believe my slur count's at 516. So just check. Also, you guys can count along with me if you guys want to join in on the fun. Watch all I think 180,000 hours of the paper stream so far and count the slurs with me. 3, 2, 1. Let's have some fun. Just send him a thank you message after you re-upload. Yeah, I can do that. Shout out to my teacher, Mr. Blank, Mr. Beep. I'll do that. This is the last piece, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining. I'm late to study with my father. I will get on that as soon as possible. Make sure to live, laugh, cry, and also not die. And until next time, this is goodbye. Shout out to McBurgerness, lol, monkey type shit, FFFGGG, Dia, Justice Forever, Super Mondo Man, of course, that girl Eleanor crossed swords emoji, Jason S, and that's it. Thank you so much. Can't wait to see you on the next stream. This is not my proper outro. I'm just riffing at this point. I'm going to drink the final piece. 3, 2, 1. I'm done. Goodbye.